I had never been part of a men's group before. It seems like it's a pretty rare thing. I've mentioned it to some others and they've sort of scratched their head, wow, a men's group, like, what's that?
What was at stake was burnout, right? Like that's at stake for everybody is burnout, loss of passion, loss of direction, kind of business as usual. That type of mindset, I think, is actually always at stake, and that's something that I, would say our work kind of hones and trims, and we're trimming the sails to always kind of be like, where is my true north as the one leading the company.
So what was at stake for me is this sense of purpose and of really bringing my my purpose, my soul's journey to onto this physical plane in a way that I just hadn't before, that I knew was there, and all the elements were all there, but like to really go forward on this specific pathway, I knew was what was needed for my full fulfillment, so to speak, in life.
I felt like I was at a crossroads, or at least on a path that seemed a little overgrown and not very clear. And so I was looking for a place where I could meet and be real with other men and talk about what it is I'm trying to do, but what it is that's sort of getting in my way.
I kind of expected him to be like, oh, it's just going to change your life. You really should do it. Because, it costs money and stuff. And so, like I said, we have a new baby. I work at a startup. Job security is not, that high. And I was like worried about it. Right. And I talked to Lev and he was like, hey, you can do this or you cannot. Like, your life is yours. Just the same way every choice in your life is yours. So, if you want to do it, some guys find it really useful. A lot of guys find it really useful. But, if you don't want to do it, that's like, it's your life, The
opportunity to meet with other men and be vulnerable and honest and share who we are and what it is that we're trying to do and what gets in our way. That's not something that men generally do.
It's unique in a few different ways, but the background that I have in terms of my personal life, my personal goals, and then my spiritual life and my spiritual goals, this group was kind of the right combination of different elements, led by you, Lev, to really fit what I was looking for, like in a men's group at this time in my life.
I thought to myself, like it is my life, and what would be the worst thing that would happen? Like if I were to join this group, right? What would be the worst thing, right? That I'd have to like get up kind of early, like one day a week, and what's the best possible outcome? And the best possible outcome is that like, it would somehow, I would awaken to the, to a myriad, things, mysteries that I could unlock that I would not otherwise have access to. So anyway, I took the plunge.
You're bringing together men's work, coaching, group process, and ceremony. And I just couldn't resist the idea, the possibility of asking you to share more about what you're doing, because I think it's part of kind of an emergent movement. It's something beautiful is co-arising, certainly in the country, but probably beyond the country.
It's difficult to find a a space like that. In today's world, it's not necessarily readily available, and then it's also not necessarily the right kind of vibe.
And give me a sense of what becomes possible when you create a space where men can be real together.
What I'm finding with tending fire is there's a sweet spot. And what I found is 4 people, actually 4 men, and then me as a facilitator, where you have that feeling of community, but it's intimate, right? And sometimes in a big group, you can hide, or you can get lost, and you can feel like you want to say something, but someone else is louder, their voice is louder. So when we have that small group experience, you have that support to be accountable to yourself in an uplifting way. You have that support to not hide, to just sit in it. It's you have the mic. Sometimes everyone gets the mic, and whatever's real in the moment, that's what comes through. And then there's trust. That real trust builds from week to week. And so there's that consistency too. Like, I need to show up next week.
Yeah, for me, it's the accountability and the actionability, and then also the way things are structured, where there's no kind of sense of, oh, you didn't do the thing you said you were going to do, and there's an issue there, there's a problem there, or you should have done it.
It felt really good to just, understand exactly where he was coming from. And the sadness that I heard in his voice touched me so powerfully. And it just made me want to call him and, and say, look, anytime you want to talk, I can just be there for you, because I understand how hard it is.
That model, that models something to me that helps me stick to the degrees that I set for myself as well.
It's not just here's the thing that I'm doing. It's this whole process is actually about me becoming more of myself in a bigger way. And in that process, I can become the person who can bring such a vision to life.
There's no sense of kind of fear or judgment or shame, oh, I didn't accomplish the thing I said I was going to do, but also that's okay. And now here's a fresh opportunity every week.
I had the opportunity to get to know you a little bit before Lev, and just appreciate you and the amazing work that you do.
My advice to the men out there who are thinking about doing this is, what's the worst that can happen? Honestly, the worst that can happen is you would join this group and then just not do the work. The worst that would happen was you would show up for this and then not be honest with yourself. Because that's what this is about at the end of the day. And I think most of us know the things that we need to do in life. And honestly, I think a lot of us just choose not to really do those things. And this group puts you on a different plane of, you're playing a different game. So I don't know, it's just a few $100. Can't take it with you when you go. You know what I mean? So it's worth your time. It's well worth your time. Honestly, I would recommend this to any guy who just wants to level up life a little bit, whether you're married or not, whether you're working or not at your dream job, or even if you're working at all. I think you're gonna gain a lot from this experience. I have, and believe me, I was not that excited to do it, but I did it because I felt it would be important to follow up on something that I knew that would probably improve my life. And I'm surprised at how much it has.